Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth video of TriFit Fabrics. In this video, we will cover everything about the purchase. Alright, so this is how your dashboard looks like. After click on purchase, as we mentioned in the last video about vendors, I forgot to mention that if you want to see the history of whatever we have bought from the vendor, you can select from, you can search from here itself. You can see that there are little purchase buttons over here. So let's say I want to check the order history of Molson Textiles. So I can see that PO 14, 13 and 9 was made by Molson Textiles. And then for Fuda Textiles, all of these POs were of Fuda Textile, and you can see who was the source person, like who made this document for purchase order, and you can see the total value and everything over here. So in this video, we will make a new purchase. All right, so I will just quickly switch to this account. So in this purchase step, we will basically have two types of user. One will be the normal user and one will be the manager user. The normal user has to follow up with the orders closely, and they have to see, and they have to, every time they have to update the stage of the current PO. And then for the manager level, they have to check where they have to basically give approvals. All right. So today we will be making a PO about this item, which is called as MD Jacquard. So I'll just quickly go to inventory and show you this item, products. Then this is Molson's item. One second. Molson under Mol, and you can see here that this is Molson's item. I will just name this MDJQD #5 over here. Okay, and in the attributes I've also created two colors for testing, black and white color. So now let's start to create a purchase. So I'll go to purchase, I'll click on new request for quotations. I will select for the vendor Molson Textiles over here. And then my contact person, if you have made the contact person, then you can choose it from this side. If you have not made the contact person, then you can leave it. In my third video, I've also instructed how to make the contact person. All right. So after this, there are a lot of steps. So one by one, we will cover all the steps. You have to, first of all, you have to see the order deadline. This means the day for today, like what is the date of you making the PO. All right, so today is 18th, so it will automatically take 18th. Then you have to write the expected arrival. Let's say I will receive this item after 1 month, so I can just click on 18th over here. After that, I have to, add my item. So I will click on add a product, and I will click on MD Jacquard. So if I want to search more, then if I just search MD, then I can click black and white, both the colors, right? So black and white. So you can see that over here it has automatically picked up the vendor code, and the description is also here. For quantity, let's say we are buying 1000 kgs of both of them. The price, let's say, is 30 RMB, and there are no taxes, so we will remove the taxes from here. So this is a very simple step. You have added the products, and right beneath it, you can see that there is a list of all the terms and conditions. This is basically our packing description, which we need to send to the supplier. In this case, it is Molson Textiles. All right. So this will make more sense to you in when I print out the PO. Okay. So I'll just quickly click on save, and you can see that as soon as I click save, a new PO number has been given to this PO, which is 25. So this order is now known as PO 000025, and you cannot change this PO 0025, and you can also not change the items anymore. So you have to be very careful with this step, that once you have saved it, you cannot change the items anymore. Okay. After this, the normal user will send this PO for approval. After sending this for approval, now the manager has to check if every description is correct or not. So now this is the manager screen. We will click on purchase, and in the Kanban view, we can see that PO0025 is still waiting for approval. All right, it is in the first step, which is lab dips receiving, and it is waiting for approval. The manager has one option here, confirm order, and you can see that this is not in the normal user screen, right? So I'll just remove this screen 1 second. Yeah. So now the manager has to check if the description is matching, everything is on point, if the quantity is all right, if the prices are all right, and then they can click on confirm order. Okay. After clicking on confirm order, you can see that now the sales girl, in this case, the normal girl, can also move on next stages. So one by one, the office girl has to update the stages in the PO. So first stage of the PO is lab dips receiving. So whenever you have received lab dips from Molson Textiles, you have to click on move to lab dips receiving. If the lab dips have been received, you have to click yes, and then you have to write the receiving date. Let's say I received the lab dips on Wednesday, 2 days after. Then I will click, you have to update the image of the lab dips. I'll just upload anything now. This step is very important so that the manager, this user, can also check the lab dips, and they can also, confirm if the lab dips are okay or not. So submit for approval. 1 second. You can see that now again on the manager's stage. 1 second. I'll refresh from manager screen. And now this user cannot move to next step. They cannot do move to lab dips confirmation. Only the manager can. So the manager will have to download this image, and they will have to check if everything is okay. So this is just the image I uploaded before. Let's say the lab dips in this case is all right. Then the manager has to move to next step. If the lab dips have been approved, they will click on the date of approval. So let's say on the 20th, the lab dips were approved. And if the lab dips were rejected, they have to write the reason of rejection. Let's say the colors were not matching. So after the lab dips have been rejected, you can see that we have moved 1 step backwards. So now the office girl has to contact the supplier again, and she has to request for the new lab dips. You can see move to lab dips receiving. So now she has to update for the second lab dips, just in case the first one got rejected. So receiving date, let's say now 21st, she received new lab dips, this one, and then she submitted for approval again. Now to the manager screen. So now manager will now check the lab dips. So he will again can download this new picture, and let's say the lab dips have now been approved. He has to mention the date of approval, let's say 21, then he can approve. And then the office girl can move on to the next stage. All right. So for gray status, she has to mention then, is the fabric gray ready? What date was the gray ready on? Let's say the fabric gray was ready on the 24th of November. So submit here. All the data you're mentioning here gets noted down here. So the record is maintaining, and this is very important for us. So in the future, if we need to if we need to tell our customers what stage their goods are at, so we can be very transparent with them. Then next step is extra process. Extra process can be, something like brushing or something like cool touch effect or any of the extra process which is being done on the fabric. Let's say the fabric has extra process of brushing or coating, right? So the extra process were done on the 27th of November. Then you can click on submit again. So after this process, you have to receive the pre-production sample from Molson Textiles. Okay, so when you have received these samples, you have to check mark this, and you have to mention the date of receiving the samples. Let's say you received the samples on the 27th. You have to submit the samples for approval. Now, any stage which requires an approval will be sent to the manager, and then the manager has to check if things are right or wrong. So you can see that manager screen, there is a button of PP samples approval. Okay, so you'll click on PP samples approval, and once the samples have been approved, let's say the manager has approved the samples, they'll click on approve, and the approval date is, in this case, is 29th of November. Okay, they have to approve this, and now we are on the next stage, which is QC. So this stage is meant for the QC, and it will have a lot of questions like this. So the QC stage has been divided into 4 areas. One is packing, measurement, hand feel, and overall QC. So for packing, the QC has to say if the packing is okay or not. If it is not okay, then they have to write their reasons. Let's say packing is torn, not plastic, paper, label bands not put, just an example. The measurement is the GSM accurate, width accurate, length accurate, and measure. And if any 3 of these, let's say this is not accurate, then you have to write your reason why the measurement is not okay. All right. If all 3 of them are okay, then you can just check mark all 3 of these. But if any one of this, like if the GSM width or length, any one of this is not okay, then you have to click here, and the QC person has to write the reasons that why is the measurement not okay. Let's say in the length, so we requested, let's say just an example, we requested for 64 inches, but some rolls have a length of 62 inches. All right, then the QC has to update about the hand feel. Is the hand feel similar to the pre-production samples, or is the hand feel similar to the samples we send them or not? So hand feels similar. Overall QC, so this is the quality check. The QC person has to mention their own feedback if the overall QC is okay. If they have any comments, then they can mention here. For example, overall QC is maintained, packing of goods should start soon. And if they have any documents to upload, then they can upload images over here. Okay, after that, after mentioning everything, they have to submit it for approval again. So now we come back to the manager screen, because the manager has to check all the feedback given. So over here, the manager can check all the things about the QC. See, so reasons for packing, okay, and all the reasons manager can check. All right, and then the manager has to confirm, is the QC done or will the QC be rejected? So let's say the QC is done, then the manager have to mention the date of QC approval, and then he has to approve it. Back on this, after this we are on the second last stage. So I know that there are a lot of stages, so you should watch this video slowly so you can understand one by one what we are doing. Okay, then second last stage is packing. So you have to mention if the goods have been packed or not, right? So let's say the packing, if the goods have been packed, let's say the packing has been done on 5th of December, and then you can submit. And after the packing is done, now it is time for us to receive the goods. So when the goods are coming to our warehouse, then you see a container button over here by the name of receipt. You have to click on this button, and you have to, and you can, you can see that how much quantity has come to you. If less quantity is coming to you, then you can mention less quantity, that okay, first time only 900 kgs come to us. In this case, we will just say that okay, 1000 kgs, all of it, we got it in the first time. So you have to click on the validate button. Once you click on the validate button, it means that now we have received goods in our warehouse, and you can see that for every activity we are doing, the software is logging details. So when we created a purchase order, when manager approved it, when the quantity was updated, and when the quantity was received. So everything is being mentioned here. So now some of you might be thinking that how can we print a PO, or how can we print shipping slips? So you have to click this button and you have to click on print. If you have to print a PO and send this to the supplier, you should click here, and a PO is downloaded. So this is how our PO looks like. Maybe it is slightly changed when you are viewing it. So over here is our company, is the vendor information, Molson Textiles, Kachao, state, Zhejiang, country China. This is the PO number, and date 18th 11, and delivery date seems to be a bit wrong. So let's check. So okay, maybe we did a mistake here. We can correct that, save it, and we can print a new PO. Over here, you can see that the PO, now the delivery date is correct. You can see the product name. The vendor can also see their product name, the quantity, the price, and everything. All right. Over here, now the supplier can also see our terms and conditions. They can see that what our packing instructions are, and they must follow these instructions. Okay, so you must have noticed that with the PO, purchase order printing button, you can also print the shipping slip. So you will click on the shipping slip button, and you can check it from here. And now you can see that in the shipping slip, we have PO 0025, and then the item name, MD Jacquard. The article number is not coming, but maybe there's a slight problem, but it will come when you print it. You can also see what all colors we printed, and then you can see the vendor code, MK. And then the weight, this is the weight of the roll, which needs to be updated by the vendor. So here are both the barcodes for our color. Here's the shipping slip. Okay. After this has been done, so this is pretty much it, so now this means that you have received products in your warehouse. And if you will go to inventory and search for products and search for MD Jacquard, here it is, you can see that the on hand quantity is now 2000 kgs. You can see that we have 1000 kgs of black and we have 1000 kgs of white in our warehouse. So this was a pretty detailed video about our purchase steps, and in case you have any questions, you should contact me. All right. Thank you.